remember now. You asked me to read this diary. I didn't want to. Your father told me not to do it. Time to go to sleep. Oh, it's nice to stay in some nights, isn't it? You need to sort your hair. Yes, I procured the lotion from the lady. And I put it in this bottle. Hopefully we can detangle your hair. I know it's always been a horrible problem. How are you feeling tonight? Let me just look at you a little bit better. Of course, my dear, I'll read you some more from that diary. As long as you promise me that you will not get upset. The diary is the subject of nightmares. Do you recall where we left off? What was happening? As you recall, the book was written, or should I say the diary was written, by one Viola Wynne Murray, whose real name was Tellehandra. She was recalling a once happy childhood in a grand Galway mansion, surrounded by her mother and aunts, until they were suddenly banished, her mother included, left with her distant father and a severe, one-eyed governess. Viola endured harsh lessons and Latin drills. When alone, Tilda spoke of demons that possessed humans, claiming she once saw one herself. But wait a second, what is this? What are these? Cute little paper hearts, where did you get these? Come now, you can tell me. I'm your governess. James Holmes had them made for you. His sister, Elizabeth, made little hearts, and he sent these to you. You'd better not let your father know. You know how he is about your suitors. Quite unreasonable. Right now, where was I? Oh yes, about the diary. A demon had entered Viola's uncle's soul. Well, that's what her governess Tilda was saying, that the demon had gone into the soul of her uncle. The confession that would mark the beginning of a nightmare for Viola. But I will continue to tell it to you. As I do your hair and get you ready for bed, I know you need your bedtime ritual. You've always suffered from the absolutely worst insomnia, and the ritual helps you to go to sleep. So let me tell you what Viola wrote. After we learned that Tilda thought the alabaster white demon had gone into the soul of her uncle, Viola's uncle, that is. Let me just be clear. So Viola's diary continues thusly. Even when my father was home, he was not home in the true sense of the word. His feelings towards me were not so much governed by sentimentality as they were by sense of duty. I only saw him during meal times, and, even then, we seldom spoke of anything but the foggy Irish weather. My father was a gentleman, which meant, of course, that he had much leisure time. This time was spent either in his study with book and pipe in hand, or on long solitary walks. He would quite often return from such a walk and look otherworldly, as if he did not recognize either his home or his kin. Absent-mindedly, he would deposit his cloak on the stand near the door and retire to his bedchambers with nary a word. In short, he had no interest in me, nor in my happiness. Indeed, at the young age of 15, I came to the conclusion that after he banished my mother and her 3 sisters from our home, he no longer took an interest in anything. What's that? You have your usual headache. Let me massage your neck a little bit, and then I'll return to the diary. There now. How does that feel? A little bit better? All right. I have the lotion here. Let me spritz it a little bit. It's funny the difference in languages. In America, we would not call this lotion. We would call it a medical tincture or a medical cleanser. But I'm getting used to Irish English ever since I've been employed by your father. To check your scalp. I don't know the strange lady who you sent me to for this lotion told me to rub your hair with this feather before I put it on. I tell you, I didn't like going there at all. It was deep in the woods, and the woman there is very strange. I know the people in town swear by that woman's lotions, but I think she could be possibly, I don't know. She lives out there in the woods all by herself. It's very creepy. And why should I have to rub your hair with a feather before I put the lotion on? She wanted me to say these weird words, but I told her that there was no way. I am a good, God-fearing woman, and that putting this lotion on your hair was all that I would do. I refused to repeat her words. They were in Latin. They sounded like some kind of a hex or something. Do you still have a headache? Then I'll just whisper softly. Just whisper to you. I'll just whisper to you. I'll just whisper as I try to comb out your tangles before I apply this tincture, this lotion. And of course, I'll get back to the diary. So, continuing. Meanwhile, I was raised by Tilda and the ferocious Father Mackenzie, who preached fire and brimstone from his pulpit at the little stone church in the village. One Sunday, as I was gaily walking, Tilda says skipping out of church after a long sermon about bad women and their place in hell. Father Mackenzie grabbed me hard by the arm and gave a little twist. Did you listen to the sermon? I did. Have you been to confession lately? He knew very well that I had not. He was the only priest in town. You should come more often. You especially need confession, given that your mother was a... Here he broke off and glared at me with 2 beady black eyes like that of a crow. A what? I asked. By now his grip on my hand was so tight it had become painful, and I winced with pain. I tried to pull away, but he wouldn't release me. My mother's a what? A what? I asked again, and winced in pain. Beside me, Tilda, in her matronly grey dress, cleared her throat several times before briefly locking eyes with the priest. It was as if a flash of something electric passed between them. Whatever it was, Father Mackenzie immediately discontinued his discourse on my mother and changed topic. "And of course there's your uncle," he said a moment later. "What about him?" "Mercy, child, hasn't anyone told you?" There was another stare down between Tilda and Father Mackenzie, and it lasted a good minute or so, with neither of them saying a word, and me trying in vain to wrest my arm from the priest's strong grip. "They say he murdered a man," Father Mackenzie said in a low, hissing growl of a sentence. "And what of it?" Tilda's voice broke in. "What of it? It has nothing to do with the child." Father Mackenzie returned her stare before giving me a hard shove in the direction of my governess. "It has everything to do with the child. She has bad blood," he said, and pointed his long, bony finger at me. "Don't you see? Murder on her father's side of the family, and everyone knows her mother was a—" He never finished the words. Tilda gave him a hard stare, and for some reason the priest jumped back as if he was in pain. I never found out what he thought my mother was, because that night my father passed away, and I left my home and the little village with the stone church behind me for good. What's that you say? You've had enough of listening to Viola's tales for one night. You can maybe guess where the tale is going. Your headache is quite bad. Okay, then I tell you what. We'll use the lotion next time, I promise. For now, let's just go ahead and get you into bed. Let me spritz you with some lavender. Dear, I'm just going to go ahead and whisper in your ear. Let's have you crawl into bed. Your nightgown is waiting. I've already sprayed your sheets with some lavender oil. Still can't sleep? Then just watch my hands. Watch the water. Sweet dreams.